already know it's that kind of day. Come on now. The wedding's in the rearview mirror, and Maxx Crosby has just released his first public words as a Baltimore Raven. Now, they are unofficial because, let's be honest, this transaction itself, this trade for a star premier edge rusher, that's certainly one of the most blockbuster-esque in the history of the Ravens organization, if not the most significant move made in the history of this organization, won't go official technically until the new league year begins on Wednesday, March 11th at 4 p.m. Eastern. But that did not stop Maxx Crosby, the newest Raven, from sitting down on his podcast, The Rush, to address Raider Nation, to address Flock Nation for the first time, Raider Nation for the last time, and there's a lot to get to as a result. Appreciate you guys for being with me. It is Saturday, just after 5 o'clock, March 7th of 2026. If you guys could like the video on the way in, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership this offseason. Want to say thanks to FanDuel and Preston Automotive Group for the continued support of the program. This 12-minute clip that I'm about to air is courtesy of Max's social media accounts. It's courtesy of his YouTube channel. And again, I encourage you to go check out all those platforms just mentioned above, because Maxx is coming to Baltimore, and he is a visible, forward-facing, media-savvy type of player who will turn 29 at the start of this 2026 regular season and begin his career with just his second team in the history of his tenure, because, again, he was a drafted Las Vegas Raider by John Gruden and company back in 2019 in the 4th round out of Eastern Michigan. And now, years later, several Pro Bowls, all pros, and a ton of accolades and statistics that make him one of the most feared, respected, and revered players in the entire league. He joins the Ravens organization in chase of a pursuit of a Lombardi trophy alongside the likes of Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Kyle Hamilton, and, of course, the newest head coach and the newest member of this regime, a new regime, in Jesse Minter. Here is Maxx Crosby's 12-plus minute long statement. He's real, it's raw, he's vulnerable, and he is now a Baltimore Raven, which will be made official coming up next week. Enjoy this.
Can't believe that this is a real thing. It's been 7 years being with the nation. Raider Nation has given me everything. You know, my family. I've had the chance to get married, had the most beautiful daughter in the world, grow as a man, as a player, as a leader, as a human being. And one thing I could say above all else is that I gave y'all everything I got, and I have no regrets about that. I put everything into trying to win as a Raider. I'm not trying to get emotional already, but it's tough, man. It's been a damn journey. Since the day I got drafted, I'll never forget that 510 number coming and hit my phone when I was in Texas at my draft party, not knowing, where that was. Getting a call from John Gruden, give me an opportunity of a lifetime to be a Raider, and it felt perfect. Ever since I've been here, man, I've had one goal and one mission. That's become the best version of myself and help bring a championship back to the Raider organization. And I feel like I left, everything I had on the table for this team. I've given my heart and soul, and I feel like I let y'all down, man. Ever since day one, I've wanted to create and build a winner with the Raiders. 2021 was the one year we made it to the playoffs. Was the most fun I ever had playing football. It was an absolute journey, to say the least. But through all of it, I have to start off by saying thank you to Mark Davis, first and foremost. He gave me the opportunity. At the end of the day, he is the owner. He is the man who's calling the shots. And he believed in me since day one and allowed me to be myself. He allowed me to grow. He allowed me, to make mistakes and learn from them and grow from them. I'll never forget having to check myself into a rehab, back in, after my rookie season, at my lowest point. And the Raider organization supported me throughout all of that. And I can't thank them enough for that, because without them, I wouldn't have the opportunity, to make it through that. And the fans, John Gruden, Mike Mayock for drafting me. But the fans, you guys have supported me through it all. The ups, the downs, the passion. I understand, people have, their opinions, and people are going to be upset, and you guys have every right to be upset. I totally understand it. It's because you guys have passion for the game and love this team and organization and want to have a winner, just like myself. And you guys have seen it. I play with a chip on my shoulder. I play with my heart on my sleeve, and I did everything in my power to try to bring a winner to this organization. So to the fans, I love y'all so much, man. Y'all supported me through it all, regardless, of everything. I wanted to do it for y'all. Circumstances, everything that was involved with coming to this conclusion. It was a whirlwind, man. I never thought I'd be in this position. I never thought I would be going anywhere else, truly. But God works in mysterious ways. And I didn't plan on things to be like this, but things happen for a reason, and I truly believe that. And the one thing about it is I have zero ill will towards that organization in any way. I want them to have all the success in the world, from Mark Davis, the legacy that he's carried on from his father, the absolute legend himself, Al Davis. That's what I wanted to embody since the day I got there, man. And it's not about words, it's about action and being the first in the building, the last out, the grinding through practice, training camp, leading from the front, bringing guys along, having young guys in my corner, taking care of teammates, looking out, pushing, having hard, tough love sometimes. I did it all with the intention of helping this team get better and improve. And regardless of all of that, I wouldn't change it for nothing. My intentions were pure from the beginning. I know a lot of people have had questions, concerns, especially over these last couple weeks and couple months. I've decided to be quiet because there's so much noise, and ultimately I'm a football player. That's my job. It's to get healthy, to be the best version of myself, not to be in the drama, not to be involved with all the other stuff. And I've learned from my mistakes in the past, being too involved. And for me, it's just because I wanted to help this team win. Sometimes I was wrong, sometimes I was right, but ultimately my heart was in the right place, and I never will regret that, as long as I live, man. I wanted everything good for the Raiders. I bleed silver and black. That'll never change, and I'm a Raider for life. And I truly want to finish, when it's all said and done, in a Raiders jersey, whenever that time comes. But for the time being, it's a new day. I'm going to Baltimore. Flock Nation, everybody in the whole city of Baltimore, I got a lot to learn. Everything is going to be new to me, and I'm excited in attacking this head on like I do everything else. The fans there, I'm not going to sit here and make a bunch of grand, predictions and anything of that nature. I'm going there with one purpose, and that's to help this team get to where it needs to be, and where everybody wants to go, and that's winning the Super Bowl. And I know it's going to be very difficult. I know there's no guarantees in this, but I'm going to give everything in my heart and soul to bring a championship to Baltimore. And there's no more words needed for that, man. I'm going to lead by action. I'm going to be myself fully. I'm going to help the organization, help my teammates, help everyone involved get as close as we possibly can and get to the pinnacle. And that requires hard work. It's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be a roller coaster, but ultimately the goal never changes. So I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get out to the city, meet everybody. I've had the opportunity to talk, to Eric DaCosta, Jesse Minter, a lot of the coaches over there and front office people. Obviously Steve Bisciotti, absolute, great individual, and I cannot wait to grow those relationships. But this is tough, man. I can't lie to you. This is not something that I predicted, something that I've seen happening. But ultimately, like I said, God works in mysterious ways, man. I'm so excited. I'm grateful. Vegas will always be my home, regardless, of the situation. My family's here. I got a beautiful house here. That's not going to change. Scenery is going to be a little bit different. You know what I mean? It's going to be crazy in all the best ways. So I'm so excited, man. I cannot thank everyone enough. I know there's so many people involved, even in the Raider for a single day, working for the last 7 years, every single morning, bright and early, every little detail. That man has helped me in so many ways, man. And that man was going through it this year. And I'm not, he probably didn't want me to touch on it too much, but he's going through a battle of his own. And that guy is one of the closest people to me on this planet. And without him, I wouldn't be here. And we're not going to be together for the time being. But none of that changes, man. Those relationships are forever. From Drew Grant in the training room, helping me through so many damn rehabs and helping me get through all, the ankle, the shoulder, the knee, all the things, all the above. He's helped me in so many different ways. Angie in the kitchen, she's literally like the mother of the Raiders. And Angie, I know you're probably crying watching this right now, but I love you so much. Can't thank you enough for everything you've done to help me and support me get closer to my dreams, and that's being the best in the world at what I do. You've helped me in so many different ways. There's so many people I can mention, my teammates, all my guys, the D-line, the whole roster in general. I've tried my best to have real relationships with and support and be a part of the positive that's going on here in Las Vegas. And I wish everybody the best and the most success. Whoever's going to be, on the new team and moving forward, man, I wish them all the best. John Spytek obviously helping out, in many ways. He gave me a great contract last year. He was obviously a big part of, this decision, and he was awesome during the whole process. And I want to thank them. I want to thank Mark, obviously. I want to thank Brady and the whole ownership group. They were incredible to me. I have to say, CJ, Doug, my agents, can't thank them enough for understanding what it's like to deal with me every single day and understanding the passion that I have for this. They supported me every step of the way. So many individuals I can mention. It's going to be different, man. And there's been so many thoughts going through my head. I honestly, this is right off the top of my head. I didn't want to write anything. I didn't want to put a post and, do anything political or try to sound right or do, please anybody in that way. I just wanted to truly just speak from my heart because the nation, I love y'all so much, man. You guys have supported me through everything. And it doesn't go unnoticed. My family loves the fan base. They love everything that comes with being a Raider, man, and I'm going to miss it a ton. But it's time for the next chapter. And the whole city of Baltimore, the trust's got to be earned. I'm coming in guns blazing. I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to give everything I have in my heart and soul to be the best player I can possibly be, to help be the best leader, best example on a daily basis. No words are needed. I'm going to show by action, and I cannot wait to do that every single day in that building, man. It's going to be incredible. So, Raider Nation, I love you guys. Flock Nation, let's go do this, man. Everybody involved. I got so many people in my corner that have helped me during this process. Brogan, Darian, the list goes on and on. there's so many people I can mention, but truly my tight-knit circle, everyone involved, they've been so supportive of me, and that without them, I couldn't be able, to be in this position, to be here right now. So everyone, I love y'all so much. I appreciate it. All the passion, the love, all the fans, the videos I've gotten, the messages, everything, the fans have sent me, truly had me in tears last night, man. I love y'all so much. And like I said, man, I feel like I didn't deliver. I'm bringing the championship to the Raiders, but right now it's, things are going to change. And I wish the whole Raider Nation the absolute best. But it's time for this next chapter, man. I'm so excited. I love all of y'all, all my supporters, everyone tuning in. Football is my world, man. It's my passion. Since I was a child, I knew exactly what I wanted to do in my life, and that's to be the best football player in the world and help help win a Super Bowl with whatever organization I'm with. So that never changes. It's Raider Nation for life. But right now, it's Flock Nation, and I'm all in. I'm going to give y'all everything I have in my heart and soul, man. And it's going to be an incredible journey, and we got work to do, man. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. Every single fan, everyone tuning in. The love, the hate, the love, all that is welcome, man. And it's understandable. But it's time for this next chapter. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you. Let's do this.
Off the cuff and from the heart. I let that thing ride for 12 plus minutes. There was one comment from Queendom Come 621. Queendom Come 621 says his heart is still in Vegas, but we will win him over. I think that's a pretty good, fair way of summarizing it. That was raw. That was real. That was honest. That was emotional. He began his career with the Las Vegas Raiders. They gave him a chance as a 4th-round pick and a slender, needing to be developed player out of Eastern Michigan back in 2019. And since then, he has built himself, developed himself into one of the game's premier pass rushers. He is 6'5", 255, originally from Michigan. He went to high school in Texas and was a key part and a fabric of that college football lineage and just how strong grassroots that is in the state of Texas. In 2019, again, in the 4th round, 106 overall, the Las Vegas Raiders, the then Oakland Raiders, gave a shot to that Maxx Crosby young man. And since then, he's become a 2-time second-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler. Had a wonderful collegiate career as well, including 2 first-team honors as All-MAC pass rusher. And now he joins the Ravens organization. And he is one of those players, those modern-day players who, yes, he does have a podcast. He's making that very clear. But you want to know what he also made pretty darn clear as well? This, that I snipped up from that 12-plus minutes in a direct message to you, Ravens Nation, the Baltimore fan base that he now joins.
Hey, I'm going to Baltimore, Flock Nation. Everybody in the whole city of Baltimore, I got a lot to learn. Everything is going to be new to me, and I'm excited and attacking this head on like I do everything else. The fans there, I'm not going to sit here and make a bunch of grand, predictions and anything of that nature. I'm going there with one purpose, and that's to help this team get to where it needs to be and where everybody wants to go, and that's winning the Super Bowl. And I know it's going to be very difficult. I know there's no guarantees in this, but I'm going to give everything in my heart and soul to bring a championship to Baltimore. And there's no more words needed for that, man. I'm a lead by action. I'm going to be myself fully. I'm going to help the organization, help my teammates, help everyone involved get as close as we possibly can and get to the pinnacle. And that requires hard work. It's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be a roller coaster, but ultimately the goal never changes. So I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get out to the city, meet everybody. I've had the opportunity to talk, to Eric DeCosta, Jesse Minter, a lot of the coaches over there and front office people. Obviously Steve Bisciotti, absolute, great individual, and I cannot wait to grow those relationships.
Message received, and it's one that is crystal clear. Flock Nation, I'm going there with one purpose, and that's to help this team get to where ultimately it needs to be and where everybody wants to go, and that's winning a Super Bowl. I'm going to bring everything in my heart and soul to bring a championship to Baltimore. That from soon to be 29 this summer, 29-year-old Maxx Crosby, who spent every single year in the National Football League with the Vegas Raiders. He has a home there. He wants to one day retire a Vegas Raider. At least that's what his heart tells him now. And he was emotional. He was real. He was honest. That was raw. That was off the cuff. And you appreciate that about him. An unfiltered look inward at Maxx Crosby, not even 24 hours after learning that his time in Vegas would be coming to an end. He also mentioned the change in scenery. It will be a significant change in scenery. Anybody that's spent considerable amounts of time in Vegas knows that Maryland's built a little bit differently. But again, his heart may be in Vegas at the moment, but he's going to Baltimore, and they got bigger fish to fry than what the Raiders, barring some miraculous, quick turnaround are going to have a chance to do in 2026. The Ravens have a chance to do what Max has not legitimately had at his fingertips all but really 1 year. I believe 2021 they went to the postseason. Other than that, it has been dysfunction. It has been inconsistency. It has been frustrations. That's been the story of his time as a Vegas Raider. T. Nargo writes, if you check the ESPN app, Max is already on the roster, but the AFC North teams have to beef up their offensive lines. With Mad Max, Beeks, and Kyle roaming, how do you stop that with a second-year Mike Green? Well, Matabike's got to get himself fully healthy. He did post a video on social media, on his Instagram page, or reposted, I believe, a video of him working with a medicine ball. That medicine ball was lifted above his neck and pile driven into the ground. Bodes well for what I've heard is set to happen in 2026, and that is a return to football. In what capacity? I don't know. When? I don't know. But I have heard, as I shared with you just a couple weeks ago, that retirement is not in the cards for Nnamdi Madubuike. Who's stopping that, Tinargo? I guess on paper, as we've seen throughout the Ravens' recent seasons, they have unfortunately proven that they can stop themselves on both sides of the ball, really all three phases of the ball. But on paper, there's a lot to like with the way that this defense is being formed, with the schematic expert that is now heading up the new program, and Jesse Minter with the staff underneath him as well, which was put together strategically and carefully and meticulously. And knowing that Lamar Jackson extension news is likely coming, perhaps that means Tyler Linderbaum's won't be long after. There's a lot to like about the state of this team, the structure of this team moving forward into 2026 and beyond. Thank you to T. Nargo for that super chat. And thanks to FanDuel for the continued support of the program. They'll be on board all of 2026. And UNC and Duke starts in under an hour from right now. The Blue Devils battle back and win at home to wrap up the regular season. That's what the same game parlay bet would give you a chance to consider. Take a look. Duke, the race to 10 points. North Carolina, first half money line. Alternate spread, alternate total points. Two areas to consider prior to tip-off, which is coming up at Duke. And, of course, at sportsbook.fanduel.com, college basketball, one of many events, one of many sporting venues and leagues that you can have a little bit of fun with. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE New York 467-369, 467-369. Check it out. March Madness is here. It's going to be a blast. Florida Atlantic at Wichita State tonight. Boise State at Colorado State. Some good mid-major games here as we get ready for the Field of 64 or the Field of 68. It's going to be a fun few weeks for all of you college basketball enthusiasts. Tony Love hit me with a super chat tonight. If you're just tuning in, Maxx Crosby has released his first words as a Baltimore Raven. He is not yet a Raven officially until the new league year begins on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. But he did take to social media. He did take to his YouTube program to share a number of things. Tony says, protect Lamar, with a bunch of what you would think are Lombardi trophies. And here's part of his messaging that you just heard a short while ago. Flock Nation, I'm going there with one purpose, and that's to help this team get to where ultimately it needs to be and where everybody wants to go, and that's winning a Super Bowl. I'm going to bring everything in my heart and soul to bring a championship to Baltimore, not shying away whatsoever from the lofty expectations that come when you have Lamar Jackson and the rest of this roster and playmaking ability, and now most importantly, a game-wrecking talent on his way east from the West Coast. And that is what we learned of last night, late last night when I was on a wedding dance floor in Killington, Vermont, that the Ravens for the next two seasons, as things stand right now, will not have a first-round pick. They have ultimately, at least for the time being, adopted the Rams way. And in 2026 and 2027, they will not have a first round pick in this acquisition of Maxx Crosby. Take a look at what he's done since entering the league in 2019. He ranks first in tackles for loss, first in solo tackles, second in quarterback pressures, second in quarterback hits, third in total tackles, fourth in batted passes, and fifth in sacks. He is phenomenal against the run, specifically designed runs. He has an unrelenting motor. Yes, he had a serious knee injury that shut down his season last year, and ultimately things got a little ugly between he and several of the Raiders team key leaders. There was a disagreement there. I think ultimately frustrations boiled over in a situation that was untenable, in a situation much like Mike Trout has dealt with over his time in Major League Baseball. When you are on a perennial losing team, aside from 2021 when the Raiders made the postseason, and you have this kind of talent that Max possesses, that's a difficult pill to swallow. And so now he goes from rebuild, dysfunction, new coach, new front office in some cases, new quarterback, new. And instead of running it back, you go to a two-time, should be three-time MVP. Potentially he'll be extended in the coming days ahead to make room for you. Perhaps Tyler Linderbaum, a brand new voice and schematic expert on the defensive side of the ball running the show in Jesse Minter. An all-pro stud in Kyle Hamilton. A future Hall of Famer in Derrick Henry on the opposite side of the football. But most importantly, an organization that comes with structure, an organization that typically comes with stability, but most importantly, championship defensive pedigree, something that has gotten away from the Ravens in recent years. And now Max brings his prowess, his expertise, his game-wrecking resume to Baltimore to put it to the test. And I asked you tonight, earlier on, I asked for a letter grade. And overwhelmingly, many of you, over 700 of you, were convinced that this is worthy of an A letter grade in terms of the trade itself. Tonight, I ask a yes or no question. And as I approach 500 votes, 92% of you say yes. The calculated risk is worth the almost guaranteed upside when it comes to trading for Maxx Crosby. More super chats have come in as well. Blogger says, is this a bust if we don't win within the next 2 years? I want to see the framework of everything before I actually come out and say that, Blogger. But there's a case to be made that they have put all their chips in the center of the table. They have gone fully all in and given up significant draft capital in what may be one of the most underwhelming first rounds in terms of talent in recent memory. So let's keep that in mind. When you give up the 14th overall pick, maybe in past years that could be categorized as somewhere in the later half, maybe in the mid to upper 20s. So just keep that in mind. The talent pool this year is lacking compared to recent seasons. But I'll wait for the framework of this deal, the numbers, the math behind everything, before I go ahead and call it a bust if they don't win the Super Bowl in the next 2 seasons. But make no mistake about it, the stakes have been raised and the urgency as an all-time high when you bring in a player at this caliber to your organization. Tony loves just dropping all kinds of super chats here tonight with a little winky face. What are you winking at, Tony? Thanks for the super chat, brother. And thanks to Wes Hall for being here tonight. One of many who were DMing me last night saying, you should be live right now. But we couldn't do that. Right, Maine? Huge Ravens fan. Tori Trossett working her way up the stairs in a robe right now here in my mother's house in the basement. Thanks to Wes for the super chat. Thanks to all of you for being with me here tonight. Thanks to Preston Automotive Group for the continued support of the program as well. I'll tell you about them coming up in just a bit. The guest lines are open, by the way. If you'd like to share a thought, If you're just tuning in, I let all 12 plus minutes of Maxx Crosby's first words since the news dropped last night, first public words, that is, I let it all ride for you at the beginning of the program. He has it all across his social media platforms as well. And I think what was most prudent, most relevant to everyone's interest, is this speaking directly to you, Ravens fans.
Today, I'm going to Baltimore, Flock Nation, everybody in the whole city of Baltimore. I got a lot to learn. Everything is going to be new to me, and I'm excited in attacking this head on like I do everything else. The fans there, I'm not going to sit here and make a bunch of grand, predictions and anything of that nature. I'm going there with one purpose, and that's to help this team get to where it needs to be and where everybody wants to go, and that's winning the Super Bowl. And I know it's going to be very difficult. I know there's no guarantees in this, but I'm going to give everything in my heart and soul to bring a championship to Baltimore. And there's no more words needed for that, man. I'm a lead by action. I'm going to be myself fully. I'm going to help the organization, help my teammates, help everyone involved get as close as we possibly can and get to the pinnacle. And that requires hard work. It's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be a roller coaster, but ultimately the goal never changes. So I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get out to the city, meet everybody. I've had the opportunity to talk, to Eric DaCosta, Jesse Minter, a lot of the coaches over there and front office people. Obviously Steve Bisciotti, absolute, great individual, and I cannot wait to grow those relationships.
Not shying away from the expectations at all. Immediately addressing the elephant in the room, and that is everything he's willing to do within his heart and soul to bring a championship to Baltimore, which will align quite nicely with several of his new teammates who are chasing that exact mission and have been chasing that exact mission for years running now. Max has been on a tear, guys. He's recorded 360 quarterback pressures since he entered the NFL in 2019. That's 29 more than the reigning defensive player of the year in Myles Garrett. This is a player that, yes, is coming off a knee injury. Yes, had to shut down his season. Yes, frustrations boiled over. And yes, as he transitions from everything that came with the pressure of his impact, the interior part, the edge, up and down the Raiders' defensive line over the last several seasons, he now comes to Baltimore. Well, maybe, just maybe, he can be convinced to actually be involved in less snaps for the betterment of himself and his longevity, and maybe, just maybe, his overall value and impact in Baltimore. This is a player that turns 29 this summer. This is a player that, yes, is coming off a knee injury, and at times throughout his tenure in Vegas, he wanted to be on the field every single snap, which is admirable. But maybe that's not a necessity come September in Baltimore. And maybe there'll be a calculated, regimented vision for what will best serve him to achieve success in Baltimore as a Raven, given what else they'll have around him. And potentially, speaking of around him, maybe Nnamdi Madubuike will be around him in the interior part of the Ravens defensive line. And perhaps he is going to run it back this year. Some encouraging health updates were posted and reposted to his Instagram over the last 24 hours. I'm sure you guys have seen this by now. He's got a medicine ball, and that medicine ball is being hiked above his head, above his neck, and pile driven onto the floor. That's pretty good news, at least encouraging news, if anything. And not only will he potentially have Nnamdi Madubuike on that defense, but he'll have some other names as well. And this graphic doesn't even include Mike Green, who I know a lot of us feel strongly about in terms of his development and his future in the National Football League. But for the purpose of the conversation in terms of who's more proven, Kyle Hamilton, certainly the do-it-all safety for the Ravens, who will be back. Roquan Smith, more than likely, will be back manning the middle part of this Ravens defense. Perhaps Nnamdi Madubuike. is back at it in terms of his timeline, his timetable, the capacity at which he may return. Still don't have any kind of clear indication of those answers. And of course, Nate Wiggins trying to bounce back from what was I'd say a disappointing for his standards year two. A lot of that had to do with the pass rush or lack thereof. Certainly puts defensive backs in a difficult position. We've seen that time and time again when 40-plus-year-old Aaron Rodgers has all kinds of time to throw. We've seen what that looks like. We've also seen what Malik Willis was able to do. And on that Saturday night in Green Bay, it's probably going to earn him a bunch of money from somewhere like Miami this offseason. Big Dow, what's up, Big Dow? He says, get the Fano brothers from Utah, guard and defensive tackle. We good. So some draft requests coming in. Still a month and a half out from exactly that. Vince Beemore says, what's the latest on Crosby's knee/health? And that'll be the big question mark. Maxx, of course, had to shut down his season in 2025 because of that knee injury. It became a thing. It became a point of contention. On January 7th, so just a couple months ago, January 7th, he had a successful left knee surgery. It was a meniscus issue. He played through it the majority of the season. It was initially described as a cleanup, but a necessary repair to have him fully recovered by the 2026 offseason. Now, what that will mean for Max's timeline for OTAs and the offseason program itself, he's got to get moved out to Baltimore. He's got to get his family settled. He's got a young one. He's got a wife. He's got to get himself fully settled and situated in Baltimore and then figure out where he's at health-wise. But I'd have to think that the Ravens, if they're willing, knowing that the way they covet their draft picks, in particular first-round picks at that, which they do not have for the next 2 years, they had to be pretty comfortable to sign off on this after digging into his medical. That doesn't mean that Maxx will be available all throughout the offseason, but we know that he's a couple months post-op. And again, that meniscus procedure, he underwent that January 7th. So what's that, 2 months ago today? Because today's March 7th. So 2 months ago today was that knee procedure. And maybe, just maybe, Lamar not only had a role, but had a feeling, had a hint, had an inkling that this is exactly what he knew was coming when that 2 o'clock-ish GIF went out yesterday. As I threw on my maroon winter suit, just to realize on the dance floor with several old fashions down the hatch that Maxx Crosby was becoming a Baltimore Raven, and my evening would take an interesting turn with hydrated segments on the Collective and the Vault. If you guys caught that, no, you didn't. Wes Hall says, I voted the trade as a B, not because of my view of Maxx, but I need to see how they manage the cap, free agency, and draft before I can say it was great. Optimistic, but just seeing what's up. That's fair. You'd think that a Lamar Jackson extension is next. Perhaps Linderbaum to follow, Zay Flowers then eventually down the road as well, assuming they want to keep their homegrown wide receiver under contract in Baltimore and award him a handsome contract extension. But I get it. Just slight hesitance, and maybe not even hesitance, but a curiosity for how the rest of this offseason might shake out. I think that's fair, Wes. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate all of you guys for being with me. The guest lines are open. Rave, are you ready to roll? I know you are. You've never not been. 90 seconds on the clock. Maxx Crosby's first words as a Raven. Your first impression was? Welcome back to the program, brother.
Hello. That's my first impression. Nah, I really didn't even get the chance to watch it, so I will be watching it. I was busy. But I will share my reaction with you guys. I did not see it happening. I don't think a lot of people saw it happening because it hasn't been done in 31 years of the Baltimore Ravens organization. But then again, I have to be fair. John is gone, so we might be seeing a whole entirely new EDC. So, it makes me wonder how much power did John have? You know what I'm saying? Because if I could see if I could see EDC in a whole different light, it makes me wonder what other moves does he have under his sleeve. So, for me, I think I'm more all in. I started to question EDC, but if he packs it on and do everything correctly, I think EDC definitely gonna have to end up getting this credit. Um, and I'm gonna keep sitting here and saying I was right because Bobby, here we are sitting right here, and me and you was talking about when these guys were getting mad at me when I said like there's no reason to keep winning after we was like 1-5, and everybody was mad at me. If you remember that, it was mad at me because I said there's no reason to keep trying to compete when it's like our team wasn't ready, and that is the truth. And it's sad to say it, but now it's a new change, a new direction, man. So Baltimore, let's do it. Let go, Rex.
My man's feeling good. Look at Raven the offseason, man. He's looking spry. He's feeling spry. I'd have to imagine that's representative of a lot of your thoughts out there. Look, these guys are rolling. There's a lot to still accomplish this offseason, obviously. But this is the start of what you would think will be a domino effect from a team building perspective. And perhaps next up is Lamar Jackson's extension. And then from there, you can't allow Linderbaum to hit the open market. And then from there, you got to address perhaps the veteran free agent guard market. I would think the trade activity, the frenzy, for the most part, is over for the time being. There's expiring contracts that you have to make decisions on. There'll be like non-primary day one or day two, like the Charlie Kohlers of the world that you have to make a decision on. Do you want Pat Ricard as a fullback? Do you still value that position? Do you still value him at this point in his veteran status of his career? Things of that nature that will be decided on within the next week or so. You got to figure out who safety number 3 is, who's going to be playing alongside Malachi Starks, knowing that you want Kyle Hamilton all over the football field, all 3 levels, roaming, doing what he does best up the line of scrimmage, covering space so well, coverage. Do you want to keep Ardarius Washington in the fold? Will you allow Alohi Gilman to walk out of the building, who will end up becoming just a half-year rental, who you brought in at the deadline from the Chargers, who ironically was coordinated defensively speaking by Jesse Minter? And then after you get through those couple weeks, it's a full-on start-to-finish marathon race, dead sprint to the finish line, where you have 10 draft picks in the 2026 NFL Draft, which does not include opening night, where they do not have anything scheduled this year, nor will they for the next 2 years. But again, what you see up on the screen is what's making this entire thing go. The Ravens' 2025 pass rush was non-existent. It wasn't needle-moving. It wasn't game-wrecking. It wasn't Raven-like. And I don't know if one player fixes and solves all their problems overnight. But I do know that they just got one of the game's best and fill the hole that they certainly have not solved since the moment Terrell Suggs left the building almost 10 years ago. The draft is right around the corner when you think about it, the way this time of year moves. And here's what the Ravens are scheduled to have that weekend. They'll have the 45th overall selection in the second round, 80th overall in the third, 115 in the fourth. And then all of a sudden, the fifth round becomes a sleigh ride, a downhill sleigh ride. You got 4 in round 5, 152, 160, and 2 projected compensatory picks that we'll have more information on in the coming weeks ahead. And then things will be finalized by 2, and I should say, check that, 3 in the 7th. 249, 252, and a projected compensatory pick to round out that 7th and final round on day 3 of the 2026 NFL Draft. That's what's coming up. Overtime 99 says Minter wants to get home with 4 defensive linemen. Seems much easier now. What's next for the defense? What's next for the defense? Appreciate the super chat, first of all. I think I kind of just alluded to it. You got to make a decision on who's going to be playing alongside Malachi Starks. Do you want to keep Ardarius Washington in the building? He's a player that busted his butt back last year from that torn Achilles in May in a conditioning program workout. 5'8", $170, but plays like a ferocious lion. Has a knack for the football. Smart, instinctual player. I think you want to keep guys like him around and then draft a safety and have him compete with the likes of Keandre Jackson, the undrafted rookie who made the 53 last summer, you might remember, and was shouted out specifically by Anthony Levine Sr. during his introductory coordinator press conference as the next special teams coordinator last month because of someone who flew in to celebrate Anthony's promotion. So I think that's up next. Safety number 3. From there, where's Teddy Buchanan's health? And how does Trenton Simpson factor into your plan coming up in 2026, who's still on that rookie contract? The former linebacker out of Clemson. After that, knowing that optics continue to trend upwards for Nnamdi Madubuike, don't stop there. You got to continue to build the trenches. And I think Jesse Minter and company will. You don't want to always take them by their word in a press conference setting at an event like the NFL Combine. But it's pretty obvious hearing both Jesse and Eric speak of the trenches, how they're going to go about prioritizing this offseason.
You know, it's an O-line, D-line driven league. When you look at the last few, just look at the Super Bowl winners of the last couple years. I think that's really where you start, is like, how have these teams won that final game? And 2 years ago, it was the Eagles, like O-line, D-line driven. This year, Seattle, same deal. So I think that's an area that you're always looking to get better. I think there are some good pieces there. And so it'll be about coaching them up, developing them more, and then adding some pieces to help us get to that level.
As for Eric's thoughts on that topic, both Linderbaum and the trenches?
Well, first of all, Tyler's a guy that I have tremendous respect for. Obviously he's proven to be, in my opinion, the best center in the league. We've been having conversations. We've had conversations since the end of the season. And at this point in time, we've made him a market-setting deal, proposal, offer, and hopefully we can get something done with him between now and the start of the new league year. Well, I think we started that last year. We took a couple guys we were excited about last year on the offensive line, in Cordell and Emery. We're excited to see what those guys bring to the table this year. No guarantees, but we're excited to see where those guys are, and we're not done yet. You know, I think it was tough to see Nnamdi go down last year. Left us probably a little vulnerable. We did see some guys step up. It was great to see Travis emerge like he did, especially the second half of the season. We were fortunate to be able to get a deal done with him. But I think, we've always been a team that has valued the importance of, quote-unquote, the trenches and being up front, which is one of the reasons why we want to bring Tyler back, if we can. Certainly a focus for us is you look at your roster and you see the ebbs and flows. You lose players. We've lost some offensive linemen the last couple of years. We've lost some defensive linemen. We've got 11 draft picks, I think, and we should have a good opportunity to add players.
Just last month at the NFL Combine, both Eric DeCosta and Jesse Minter addressing the elephant in the room. Trenches, an area that has been a weak point, a weak link at times for the Ravens organization. Certainly in 2025, which could very well on the offensive side of the ball, due to a lack of pass protection, have led directly to losing Lamar Jackson for a chunk of the season, a key piece of the season. Speaking of trenches, the Bills made a move earlier today, a significant move at that, and reached agreement on a 4-year deal worth up to $52 million. And $32 million is guaranteed. That's $13 million annually on an average basis. He will not hit the open market And so the Bills have their center, who was going to be a coveted asset should he have hit the open market, much like Tyler Linderbaum will be if the Ravens allow him to hit the open market coming up next week. They got to get something done. Time is ticking. And there will be teams like the Raiders, like the Patriots, like others that will back up the Brinks truck and not be afraid to reset the market at center. Eric DeCosta made it clear in Indianapolis that a market-setting offer had been out there and thrown onto the table, but Tyler and his camp, and maybe led by his camp, knowing Tyler's personality, have been a little inconsistent, or let's say unresponsive, leading you to believe that this could go any which direction coming up, much like Ronnie Stanley's felt a year ago, which should allow you to hold out a little bit of hope that something could still get done as we tick closer and closer and closer to not only legal tampering window, which opens up for 48 hours Monday and Tuesday next week, but also the new league year when things go official at 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. That's the 11th of March. On the other side of the ball, trenches-wise, and Charles, I'm coming to you in just a second, brother. Great to see you. The Eagles and Jordan Davis reached agreement on a 3-year extension. You know, they're not going to let him walk out of the building. This guy, the way that he clogs up a defense, the way that he stops the run, the way that he ferociously erases you, he ain't going anywhere. He's in Philly for the next 4 seasons. He was the number 13 pick back in 2022. Was entering his 5th-year option season, but Howie Roseman gets that deal done, and to no one's surprise. And maybe, just maybe, we'll be saying that about Linderbaum in the next 72 hours or so. Kush Renata says, would love to add Owe opposite Crosby, draft a guard. Can you imagine? Things change, man. Things really do change when it comes to live chat commentary. I'm not ripping you, Kush Renata, about wanting Adafe back, but I can't imagine that you were singing his praises a few months ago. And I'd have to think he probably wants to change the scenery. But then again, they cleaned house in Baltimore. And Jesse got a whole lot out of Adafe down the second half stretch, didn't he? 7.5 sacks. That did not include 3 in the postseason wild card game. And a couple forced fumbles, by the way. Adafe was a dog and showed what the Ravens clearly saw in him, but weren't fully able to maximize throughout his career as a Raven. They did pay Tart, the Chargers did. Will they pay Owe as well? Something tells me there's going to be another team out there that's throwing the bag at him. Not for necessarily what he's accomplished, but much like Isaiah Likely, I think, in the next few days, what they think he can accomplish, what they feel like they can get out of him. I bet you both players sign lucrative deals elsewhere outside of Baltimore. Overtime says, thanks for all you do, brother. I appreciate you for being with me, Overtime. Look, it's very hard for me to, this is my baby, right? And so the vault requires a lot of me. The collective, all of a sudden, in recent months, has required a lot of me. And I love both of those ventures. But I think sometimes when you make a commitment to partnership, I think inevitably and very naturally, what ends up getting the short end of the stick is this channel, just because of I don't have any commitment to anyone here, aside from my sponsors, who I'm extremely grateful for. So needless to say, post-Indianapolis, I was a little quiet. 1, because of the lull in content, and 2, because of how much is required elsewhere. So I look forward, though, to changing that around over the next week or so, because it's going to be a full throttle affair. I'm looking forward to get back down to St. Pete, my command center and everything, after spending some time with the family here in upstate New York. JS19 wants to know if I'm recovering from the Shirley Temples from the wedding. Yes, I saw the clip from Cole and Jeff. They take no prisoners when it comes to me, which I appreciate. That is a form of flattery. And let's be honest, when one of us misses a show, we annihilate. We annihilate that person through words. It's good banter. Love those guys. Appreciate them taking care of business late night. I did join them for a quick segment, and Sarah did the same. Sarah went live at midnight. The Collective was on about 10:30, 11, and I was able to join both shows for a segment. So needless to say, it's like hamming and egging in a golf course match, man. Some days you just, like Sarah during the Harbaugh dismissal and the coaching staff stuff with everything she had on her plate. Hey, sometimes that's how it goes with life. And I wasn't about to walk out of my cousin's wedding, my first cousin's wedding, in this beautiful winter scenery in Vermont, albeit the most maybe significant move that's ever been made in the history of the Ravens franchise outside of quarterback decisions. So appreciate your patience. And JS, I'm feeling pretty good, honestly. Far cry from where I was on Friday after the combine, the last day at the combine. I'll chalk that up to the cigar bar the night before in downtown Indy. If you know, you know, Charles. Get your ass in here, will you? 90 seconds on the clock. Appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. Over 1,300 concurrents and counting. This is show number 2. And this is solely focused on Maxx Crosby's first words as a Raven. And they're unofficial because he's not yet a Raven. But he released it across all of his social media networks. I let it ride to begin the show, and we've been talking about a number of things since. The earlier show was just sort of my reactions to the super team that's beginning to form in Baltimore. And there are other components to truly make it, by definition, a super team. But they got a lot more work to be done in the coming weeks ahead so we can fully look at and evaluate this roster. Charles, what's going on, brother? Happy weekend, man. How you doing?
F them picks, man. F them picks.
Hey, they adopted that LA strategy.
Listen, man, you only get an opportunity to get an impact player, a guaranteed impact player every so often. And he's a guaranteed impact player. We've been trying for the last 3-4 years to, whether it's Adisa Isaac, whether it's Dafi Owe. I mean, the list goes on and on of people that we thought were impact players and didn't turn out to be that way, right? I mean, you think about what is the guy we took in front of George Pickens? I hate the guy from Michigan. The linebacker from Michigan that hasn't done anything. In any case, we drafted him in front of George Pickens because we thought he was going to be an impact player.
Ojabo?
Ojabo, yes. If you look at the draft, if you look where Ojabo got drafted and look where George Pickens got drafted, Crosby automatically makes the defense better. You cannot double team because the brunt of last year, Travis Jones was getting most of the double teams. So now he's one-on-one. If you look at Travis Jones and what's my guy name? Came back from the foot injury and got a sack his first game back.
Robinson.
So he eliminates the double teams. So if we get pressure, Nate Wiggins not getting beat deep all the time. And it gives us flexibility with Kyle Hamilton. I absolutely love the move and F them picks, man. Next year, that pick is going to be at least the 27th pick. And then the 27th pick, again, impact players from there. I'm okay with it. It's worked well for LA, but it'll work better for us.
It's great to see you, brother. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Brother. All right.
That's Charles. He's loving it. It's the off season. It feels like anything but, though. Feels like anything but. Yeah, look, for Vegas, this is a tough pill to swallow for their fan base. It's been a difficult handful of years for them. This is a full-blown rebuild. This is their franchise player. And he wanted to stay. He wanted it to work out. And he gave the Raiders, as he's talked about, his heart and soul. So there will be times, I'm sure it will take time, for him to fully, not from a professional standpoint, but fully embrace the move, fully embrace the city, fully embrace the newness that comes around with joining just his second team in his NFL tenure that dates back to the 2019 fourth round when the Raiders used a 106th overall pick on the pass rusher out of Eastern Michigan, 6'5", 255. That is Maxx Crosby. And yeah, it's hilarious that Charles just came right on here saying, screaming, loving, preaching, F them picks. This says a lot about perhaps the Ravens' calculations, evaluations of the first round, the talent pool this year, the fact that they were willing to part ways with the 14th overall selection, which maybe compared to past years is just a drop in the bucket in terms of talent pool and what they feel like they could get instead by giving up significant capital to go and get a sure thing and a future Hall of Famer in Maxx Crosby, who now joins Jesse Minter's defense. Dozy Dope says, I told you all earlier in the season, Ajabo told my barber that Zio was calling nonsense plays, and that showed with Owe and Draymond. I do remember some shop talk from you, Dozy. Thanks for the reminder. JS19 Raven says, chalk that up to Steve from Le Meridian as well. Shout out Steve from Le Meridian. He was the one that provided the, and I gotta play. You guys know I gotta play this. It still cracks me up. This right here from Tuesday night in Indianapolis a couple weeks ago cracks me up. Sleeper support, long time.
Wow.
Look at this goal.
At this.
We're getting a delivery.
We're getting drinks or
courtesy of Le Meridian. I appreciate you. I never got your name, by the way, too. Say it again. Steve, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Big hooper. Indianapolis hooper right here.
Oh, nice.
College basketball. Not a football guy, but a basketball guy. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you.
Boy, we ought to send one.
Let's cheers to the U.S. hockey team.
That's right. And the Hughes brothers.
Cheers, Jack Hughes, Connor Hellebuck. Wow, that's a strong drink. I didn't eat any more hair on my chest, but I just got some.
Hey, what did you tell me you had at 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock?
Yeah, you got a commitment.
Oh, yeah, I do. I have a lot of commitments tomorrow.
No, tonight.
Oh, tonight? Yeah, I got to meet with my editor tonight at 9 o'clock.
So cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers to that.
The timing of that was absolutely beautiful. Anyway, we want to say thanks to Sleeper for the.
I have the worst FOMO ever right now. This FOMO brought to you by Sleeper. Up
You're
here
gonna be
in
sleeping
fucking
poorly
minus
tonight.
25 weather. Fucking.
Look at him twirling
Yes.
over here. He's getting it ready. Why don't you
Yeah.
slide the orange slice around
Yeah.
there? There you go.
That 2 Shirley Temples for the boys
Yeah.
over there?
Yeah, seriously, bro, I'm almost embarrassed to have a drink with a piece of fruit in it.
I
That's
can't.
just me.
I can't. Should we just take
We
over?
know- we know-
Should we just take over?
We know.
What do you think?
Yeah, we know Bobby isn't.
Single screen. Later, Canadian boy.
You know I'm going to kick your ass next time I see you, right?
I've drank with you before, Crossbar in Fed Hill.
I'll get Coleman after you.
Oh, yeah.
I had to. JS, you mentioned Steve from Le Meridian, just so everybody had a little bit of context. That's who you were referring to. So I'm glad you brought that up. And thanks for the super chat. And thanks to Cole and Jeff for handling things and holding down the fort on the collective last night. I hope you guys go and check them out and support their late night programming from a Friday night. Kobe Pruitt says, I feel like the draft compensation was in our favor. It was 14 and what we hope is effectively a second round pick that has a 5th-year option in 2027. Smart. It's a savvy way of looking at it. I mean, look, it's as simple as this is an underwhelming draft year. The more you sink your teeth into the talent pool and and I'd say the shortage or what's left to be desired at the premium position category in the projected first round picks, the more you think, hey, yeah, should this be categorized as 2 first round picks? By definition, it's 2 first round picks. But is that truly the quality of player that you're passing up on, given specifically speaking with respect to this year's talent pool in this year's draft class? Can't speak to 2027 yet. Certainly supposed to be right now, a year plus out, deep in the quarterback pool. But as far as 2026 is concerned, does it really qualify as a first-round pick quality-wise? That remains to be seen. And the Ravens are betting on potentially that not being the case. Or, excuse me, that being the case. That they are willing to part ways with what they feel like is not a legitimate 14th overall draft capital type of asset. Blue Flame says we have to re-sign Linderbaum. Then I think we put Emery at left guard and bring back Kevin Zeitler for right guard. Cheap but proven veteran. Draft a right guard to develop. So Kevin is one of the pending free agents that Blue Flames is mentioning. Emery is absolutely an option, you would think, to compete for starting left guard. We saw him in a very small sample size in Todd Monken's offense last year down the second half stretch after he was cleared with the shoulder surgery and the shoulder setback that sidelined him for the majority of the beginning of his rookie career last year, not to mention the majority of his offseason as well. But Linderbaum, a lot of this hinges on Tyler's future. A lot of the state and the structure and the stability, the processing, the identifying of protections, the durability, a lot of that hinges on bringing Linderbaum back, knowing that he's been a staple, a mainstay within this Ravens offensive line since he was drafted in the first round out of Iowa 4 years ago alongside Kyle Hamilton. Both of those have become cornerstone pieces. The Ravens didn't want to lose Ronnie Stanley, and Ronnie Stanley didn't want to lose the Ravens a year ago. There was similar uncertainty swirling around his name, though, a year ago. And ultimately, they didn't allow him to hit the open market. And he and his representation didn't allow himself to hit the open market. If that was the case, he inevitably would have been gone. Will it be a similar story in the coming days ahead for Linderbaum? Remains to be seen. Vince Beemore says, are you excited to watch Cole jump in the harbor? Vince, I'm already lining up accommodations and lodging for him downtown. We got to start talking dates. So yes, color me excited, thrilled, to be honest with you, that his Canadian ass takes a jump, a plunge into the harbor. Can we get some medical staff out there to volunteer, by the way, when this happens? I'll bring the videographer's team, but can we have some medical professionals volunteer to be there just in case this goes terribly wrong? We want them coming out alive, don't we? Kobe also says, Max just feels like a Raven. He has a nasty streak that none of the players under Harbaugh have had. This feels like going back to our roots. Bullies. Maxx Crosby. KP, I think this clip from his former head coach, John Gruden, in that sit-down podcast they did perfectly encapsulates and also backs up what it is that you're stating here. Listen to this.
Set the record straight here
Let's
before we
go.
get into this.
I bet.
Whenever you got to get up and leave, you
I'm here for you.
You've come a long way since Eastern Michigan when you were 180 pounds.
Maybe
But,
190, maybe.
I want to clear this up. You went on You went on.
I already know. I already know what you're
No,
gonna
wait a
ask
second.
me. I already know what you're gonna say.
I got-
You're gonna
I mean,
say,
I-
wasn't gonna cut you. That's what you're about to
Well,
say,
listen,
right? See,
you
I
did
know.
the interview. I'm just saying. I get calls. I've been beat up a lot in my life.
I know.
But, I mean, they call me and say, you were going to cut Maxx Crosby? I go, what? Yeah, he came on our show. He said you were going to cut him.
Literally threatened to cut me on the middle of the field. One of my first training camp. And his thing, like, he's an offensive coach. And I've always had offensive coaches till AP got here. But he would get so mad about batting balls. Like, we'd be in practice doing team, and he refused to let us bat the ball. But I would tell him, I'm like, why the fuck are we practicing to not bat the balls? But in a game, they're going to be doing the same shit. So
Right.
what's the point? But he's an offensive guy, so he wants he wants practice to move a certain way. So I'm not even thinking. I'm just trying to make plays and whatever. I'm a third string. I'm just trying to do everything. So it was like the second week of training camp. I swat a ball down, and I'm fucking hyped, celebrating. And he's all looking at me all irritated, whatever. Happens again. Boom, swat a ball down. Then it happens at the end of practice. I swat it for the third time. He's like, stop swatting the fucking ball down. He goes, I'll cut your ass. I swear to God if you do it one more time. And I'm looking at him like, all right. And then I just go back to the huddle. Like, he shut down practice and whatever.
So I'm going to clarify this to everybody. Our tackles, our offensive linemen, were not allowed to cut our defensive linemen below the legs in quick protection. So I told the D-line, since we're not going to ever block low, don't jump up and bat balls down.
Yeah.
But you didn't listen. You jumped up and batted 9 balls down in one practice.
I can't help
And
myself.
finally I said, if you bat one more ball down, I'm going to cut your ass, meaning we were going to cut your legs out.
For 5 years, I legitimately thought you meant you were going to cut me on the field. I did not know that. I thought that's what you meant in the moment. So I was like, we're in practice. You know me, I can't fucking help myself. So I'm going balls to the wall.
and you screamed in front of everybody, I'm going to fucking cut your ass. And I'm thinking like, I probably called CJ. I might be released this afternoon.
I want you to look in the lens right there and apologize to me.
I apologize. I mean, I wouldn't be here without you.
I mean,
I wouldn't be here without you.
I get accused of running Khalil Mack off. I get accused of cutting Maxx Crosby. I don't want Tom Brady. What do you guys think? I'm some dumbass here or what? Look at this jacket. You
Super
see
Bowl
that right
champion.
there?
Classic Gruden, but more importantly, to KP's point, I think that validates it. He's a bully. He's a high-character player. There's an unrelenting motor that comes with Max. And again, since 2019, the 4th most batted passes with 20, which goes nicely with that clip right there in his recent sit-down with his former head coach, John Gruden. Hockey Fever 22 says, Bobby, I think the lack of edge/pass rush development, Ajabo, Isaac, Owe, etc., is probably due to coaching staff. So I'm excited to see how these young pass rushers develop under Minter and company. Thoughts? Yeah, I had a chance to catch up with the new outside linebackers coach, by the way, in Indianapolis. His name is Harland Bauer. Harland comes over from Duke. He has some familiarity with Aeneas Peebles, by the way, who was a day 3 pick last April out of Virginia Tech, where he transferred from Duke. I think Harland brings a level of what Jesse brings. Schematic expertise. He's a motivator. He's a connector. Understands the college ranks, much like Jesse does, having won a national championship in Ann Arbor at Michigan. And when you couple that with the schematic side of things, knowing that there is an importance and it is paramount, it is imperative to get home with a standard 4-man rush. And the Ravens have taken steps to ensure that that's the case moving forward. So that 40-something odd Aaron Rodgers, if indeed he does run it back with the Pittsburgh Steelers, won't have time to throw, ample time to throw at that, in the pocket with clean, comfortable visions, sight lines, and pocket space. So I too join you in that optimistic approach, Hockey Fever, to the new staff, the rejuvenation, the way these assistants were brought in, and knowing that that cutting edge mentality that we keep hearing about when it comes to Jesse and this new regime, all that should work hand in hand. Kobe says we are trying to talk ourselves into a guard at 14. You know the organization couldn't spend 14 as much as Vanga is going to go help a team immediately and probably be a plug-and-play day one starter from the jump. Could you imagine them selecting a guard at 14? No disrespect to Vanga. Best wishes to him. KP also writes, Tyler may learn yesterday the price is not today's price. Again, Connor McGovern, 13 annually. Again, 13 annually is what Connor McGovern gets from Buffalo. And we have some breaking news, folks. We have breaking news, and this day just will not end, will it? Guess who's coming back to Baltimore? And this is an important deal for the Ravens organization because this was his 3rd or 4th, whatever stint this past season as Lamar Jackson's primary backup quarterback after the Cooper Rush experiment didn't exactly work out well. And look who's on his way back in the form of a re-signing. It's a 2-year deal worth up to $11 million, which is typically agent speak. It's nowhere near $11 million, knowing the quarterback market. We'll wait for the specific terms. Remember that last year was a little bit misconstrued with Cooper Rush's deal. So keep that in mind. But Tyler Snoop Huntley continues his NFL career in Baltimore. He is signing a 2-year deal to continue backing up Lamar Jackson as a Raven. Remember, Tyler helped by playing cleanly, efficiently, and manage the game at a high level. Helped the Ravens organization pick up 2 significant wins against would-be playoff teams in 2025. 1 game against Chicago, who he beat years ago in relief of Lamar. And then the second came in primetime against Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau. Difficult place to play with some tough wintry conditions, if memory serves, that evening as well. This is smart. This is smart from a continuity standpoint. This is smart given the familiarity of the organization and given the development of Tyler Snoop Huntley, who is a former undrafted rookie out of Utah, who's extended his career into yet another deal. And you hope and you pray and you can expect potentially that Lamar will bounce back based on what he's done in recent seasons and hopefully be available for the entirety of the 2026-27 regular season. But if for some reason there's a fluky thing that pops up, there's a nick, there's a bruise, Tyler Huntley's going to be ready to go. And he'll run the offense smoothly. He'll run the offense with timing. He'll get the ball out of his hands quickly, if so be it. And if the game plan calls for it, he's going to deliver the ball on time, accurately, decisively. And if a play breaks down, he's willing to use his legs effectively. This is a win for both. I am somewhat surprised. I thought there was a decent chance that Snoop might get paid handsomely somewhere else, given what he gave to the Ravens in relief last year of Lamar Jackson. But this is a smart move. And you guys know my hot take from just a week or so ago about the importance of the backup quarterback position in Baltimore. So that's that. Tyler Snoop Huntley. 2 years, up to $11 million in a return to the Ravens organization. His NFL career rolls on. What a great story. Congratulations to the former undrafted rookie out of Utah. And I want to say it was not 2019. Was it 2020? 2020 undrafted after spending 2016 to 19 at Utah. Spent his first 4 years in Baltimore, 20 to 23. Then hopped around from a bunch of different teams in a very short amount of time. I'm talking Cleveland in 24, Baltimore in 24, Miami in 24, Cleveland in 25, Baltimore in 25, and now the re-signing comes down. So good for him. This is smart. Keon says they're overrating him. That's odd. Bobby's talking about he would have gotten paid handsomely somewhere else. No, he wouldn't. He got cut everywhere he goes. LOL. Keon, here's my thought. Stay with me here. When I say paid handsomely, first of all, that's an operative term for the backup quarterback market. I think there would have been a team. I had thought that there could have been a world where there would have been a team based on what he put on tape this past season for the Ravens, based on how he operated the offense, cleanly, efficiently, decisively, accurately, that would have made him an offer that the Ravens wouldn't have been willing to match or exceed. That was wrong. And if there was an offer out there, Tyler didn't want it, so I don't know. I can't speak to that. Drew Rosenhaus could, though. So Snoop stays in Baltimore. KP hits me the super chat and writes, we have focused on skill players this offseason. But I want to bring up that I'm excited about Rosengarten and Emery's development under our new offensive line coach by the name of Dwayne Ledford, who comes over from Atlanta. He'll be the run game coordinator as well, and he'll bring an assistant and Sean Flaherty, who played college football at Towson, ironically, in the Baltimore area during his playing days. Appreciate you, KP. And I too share that excitement, not only for those two players, developmentally speaking, but for the entire state of the offensive line, given a new voice, given the track record, the resume that comes with the accomplished and revered and respected Dwayne Ledford, who, again, is being brought over from the Atlanta Falcons. Tyler Huntley hasn't been a great backup for everyone, but he's been a great backup, a good backup for the Ravens and what the Ravens need. And that is some breaking news on what continues to be a very busy, happening weekend in Baltimore. Tyler Snoop Huntley will continue to serve as Lamar Jackson's primary backup. And of course, that's not to overlook at all what we now know is as good as gold, being that we've heard from the man himself and the newest premier pass rusher and a new face, a co-face at that, of the franchise, and Maxx Crosby, who for 12 plus minutes addressed Raider Nation and said goodbye. And while saying goodbye, he said hello to you, the Ravens flock.
Day. I'm going to Baltimore, Flock Nation, everybody in the whole city of Baltimore. I got a lot to learn. Everything is going to be new to me, and I'm excited and attacking this head on like I do everything else. The fans there, I'm not going to sit here and make a bunch of grand, predictions and anything of that nature. I'm going there with one purpose, and that's to help this team get to where it needs to be and where everybody wants to go, and that's winning the Super Bowl. And I know it's going to be very difficult. I know there's no guarantees in this, but I'm going to give everything in my heart and soul to bring a championship to Baltimore. And there's no more words needed for that, man. I'm going to lead by action. I'm going to be myself fully. I'm going to help the organization, help my teammates, help everyone involved get as close as we possibly can and get to the pinnacle. And that requires hard work. It's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be a roller coaster, but ultimately the goal never changes. So I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get out to the city, meet everybody. I've had the opportunity to talk, to Eric DaCosta, Jesse Minter, a lot of the coaches over there and front office people. Obviously Steve Bisciotti, absolute, great individual, and I cannot wait to grow those relationships.
Away they go. He's already made those initial connections. Those initial conversations are being had, have been had, and now Maxx Crosby joins the operation that is the Baltimore Ravens in year 9 with Lamar Jackson at the helm, chasing that elusive, coveted Lombardi trophy. Thanks to Preston Automotive Group for the continued support of the program, my longest standing sponsor here inside the channel. If you are in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle in 2026, I hope you'll consider working with them. You can scan the QR code that you see in the upper right-hand corner or go to PrestonMotor.com. There's a direct link for you in the show notes, and it'll take you to my specific landing page where you can learn a lot. You can also cash in on that $500 credit towards a new or pre-owned vehicle. You can also buy 4 tires and receive 50% off your alignment. Both of those offers, if you let them know that I sent you at any one of their dealership locations, all throughout the DMV, all throughout Baltimore, all throughout the Eastern Shore. It's got great variety, great service, great people, and 3,858. 3,858 is the count, the available inventory count. You want to search that up and divvy up the search by make, model, keyword, you can do that. You can also break it down even more by price, vehicle condition, year, make, location, you name it. I got my 2023 Ford Bronco Sport. It's a smooth ride. It's a safe ride. Tilly loves it. I miss her. She's in Florida. I'll be back soon. But thanks to Preston for the continued support of the program. So if you're just tuning in, nothing's really happened. Maxx Crosby, as we've learned for now almost 3 hours of programming, is a Raven. It's almost been 24 hours. Tyler Snoop Huntley will continue to serve as Lamar Jackson's primary backup over the next 2 years in a deal that's worth up to, that's key word here, up to, don't hang your hat on the number, up to $11 million. We'll wait for the specific numbers. And now the games really begin for the Ravens. Because how are they doing all this business? You know how they're doing all this business. I think the extension's done for Lamar. And if it's not done, it's approaching the closing stretch. And after that, it'll be like clockwork, ensuring to keep Linderbaum around, perhaps eventually getting around to extending Zay Flowers, operating in the free agent guard market, and a number of other things, including safety number 3. And then, oh, by the way, draft season will follow that. You're lucky I love you, and you're lucky I met you in person the other day. I was about to sign my ass off of this program. And then my friend, my new in-person friend, popped up into the waiting room, and I couldn't stiff him. I couldn't do it. Not today. Not tomorrow, and not at a cigar bar at 1 a.m. in downtown Indianapolis, knowing that he drove from Columbus, Ohio. 90 seconds on the clock for Trey. It's Trey's day. And man, oh man, what a day it's become the last 24 hours for this Ravens organization. Mr. Columbus himself, welcome to the program, brother.
Hey, how's it going, Bobby? I'll be quick as possible because I know you've been on this dang freaking stream for like 2 hours now, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. So that guy we ended up running into, that taller guy, I guess he is friends with agents around and he does medical stuff and he's well connected. He was kind of already hinting towards a lot of stuff that he knew.
Who I
So
thought was
that's
the
why I was like,
NBAer?
what?
Who I thought was the NBAer?
The tall guy with dreads?
Yeah,
The
I
guy
thought there
with,
was like a Pacers connection, right?
yeah, no, I thought he was too, but he's just friends
Okay.
with agents and he was, everybody's just trying to network.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was telling me some stuff was going on. He's like, man, I've been hearing some stuff. It's about to be active. It's about to be very active. And he's like, you guys Ravens fans? I'm like, yeah. Oh, I already heard about you guys too. I was like, wow. So he kind of tipped off some stuff, but you can take stuff for a grain of salt. So that's all. But yeah, man,
It's certainly been active. It has been
yeah,
active, all right.
it's definitely
I'm
been active.
scrolling up in the Discord group right now to find the selfie of us, but there's so many goddamn
Oh,
messages in here.
it's too many. It's too many
Holy mother
messages.
effer. Well,
Yeah.
everybody will take our word then that we had a chance to catch up, and I was in my favorite cigar bar downtown Indy at Burn. It was great to meet you in person. I hope
Yeah.
you enjoy the rest. Hopefully it was a useful, productive rest of your weekend. And hey,
I cried for this one. I wanted this one since the I think it was before the deadline. I was the one kind of putting it out there on the vault like Crosby. So I've been wanting this one for a
things are
while,
just
man.
getting started, man. Things are just getting started. So, and again, this is the news right here, as everybody's chatting about in the Discord at the moment, is that Tyler Snoop
Yeah.
Huntley is back in Baltimore on a 2-year
Yeah.
deal. It's great to
That's
see you,
solid.
man. Enjoy the rest
Great
of
to
the
see you.
weekend. Soak it up, brother.
Hey, I'll soak it up, man.
Later.
I'll later.
Trade day. That's trade day right there. Guys, if you haven't already done so, we'd love for you to join the Bobby Baltimore Discord server. It's a 24/7 hub for conversations surrounding Baltimore sports. It's been cooking with all of this news, and it is free to join. I'm going to go ahead and drop it into the live chat and update the pinned comment before I get on out of here. There are over 1,300 members and counting. Excuse me, we're at 1,251 right here. 1,251, 1,251 members is where we currently stand. So, you see, we don't just talk football. There's baseball, there's Caps hockey, there's hoops ahead of March Madness. Bobby After Dark's always fun, especially during wedding season, which happens to fall on gosh darn significant days in Ravens history in the form of trades for premier pass rushers. So go join it. I tend to mix it up in there as well. Thanks, guys. Thanks to all of you for hanging out. There's still over 1,300 concurrents on my way out here, which certainly I never take for granted. And hopefully you guys aren't taking for granted what's going on right now in Ravens team activity pre-free agency. I mean, if this is any indication of what's to come in the days ahead, then buckle up. And I appreciate all of you, as I do Preston Automotive Group, FanDuel, my longtime sponsors. If you'd like to donate to the program, you can do so through Venmo or Cash App. You see the handles on the screen. Nothing's ever expected. Anything and everything beyond appreciated. I thank you in advance. And if you could on the way out, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or a gift-giving membership this offseason. And hang tight, buckle up, and stay with me. Make sure the notifications are on. Make sure you're staying on top of everything that's been transpiring as the Ravens pre-free agency frenzy rolls on. Thanks to all of you for spending some time with me tonight. Thanks to those of you who super chatted. Thanks to you who live chatted. Most importantly, thanks to those of you who just simply tuned in to this continued build of a third channel, whether it's the collective, the vault, or right here. I appreciate all of you guys. Thanks for the support. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And who knows? Just stay tuned for that next notification drop because it's probably coming soon.